In 1994, a tomato was the first product item generated by genetic engineering. Nowadays, almost every produce item is genetically modified. Are you aware of what's in the foods you consume and the health effects that can come from GMOs? Genetically modified organisms are plants or animals whose DNA has been altered using genetic engineering. Most genetically modified animals are used for testing and are referred to as models, although some of them are made for human consumption, like salmon. Salmon have been altered to mature faster to speed up the breeding process. According to National Geographic, genetic engineering typically changes an organism in a way that it would not occur naturally. It is even common for scientists to insert genes into an organism from an entirely different organism. This highlights how fragile and complicated the human immune system is, raising questions about the long-term health effects that GMOs can bring. As genetically modified foods are becoming more involved in our daily lives, concerns surrounding their long-term health effects are beginning to appear. One critical issue is that the new proteins introduced can act as allergens since they're unfamiliar to the immune system. A well-known example of this is the GM soybean. The GM soybean is engineered to contain a Brazil nut, which is a known allergenic food, resulting in a methionine-rich protein which was found to cause allergic reactions in patients sensitive to this nut. This study explains how fragile the human immune system is, questioning the long-term health effects from GMOs. Another concern is for the proteins that are already present in the changed organism. Research has shown that alternating the proteins can potentially increase their allergenic properties. The Natural Library of Medicine states an off-sided risk of GE crops is that the genetic engineering process could cause unnatural changes in a plant's own naturally occurring proteins, or metabolic pathways that result in an unexpected production of toxins or allergens in the food. According to the Natural Library of Medicine, unexpected allergies may surface when GM proteins are introduced into foods that already have other proteins, therefore highlighting the need for further research into the possibilities of genetically modified products having allergens. The gut microbiome is negatively affected by products that have been genetically modified. The gut microbiome is a microscopic world within the world of your larger body. It plays a vital role in digestion, immunity, and the overall health of the human body. A study shows that these GM proteins may be less digestible, resulting in their presence in the gut. The reduced digestibility of GM proteins may mean that they stay in the gut for a longer period of time, disrupting the balance of the microbiome in the process. In addition to the hard-to-detect allergies and nutritional issues that may arise from genetically engineered plants, many scientists have noted that there is a chance that accidental changes could occur within the plants, which could lead to elevated levels of plant toxins. According to the Institute for Responsible Technology, GM crops, they said, might have increased levels of known naturally occurring toxins, the appearance of new, not previously identified toxins, and an increased tendency to gather toxic substances from the environment, such as pesticides or heavy metals. Depending on how it occurs, this could happen through soil, water, or the air, which makes it worrying as to how it might affect the human health in the long run. Having a better understanding of these factors helped define the need for safety assessments of genetically modified organisms, as well as the potential risks that may arise from their use. Foods that have been genetically modified are made for a variety of reasons. As a result, some of them have been changed in such a way that they are resistant to certain antibiotics. According to the government of the Netherlands, if a genetically modified plant is eaten, such genes can be transferred to bacteria in the gastrointestinal tract of humans or animals. The bacteria could go on to develop a resistance to that specific antibiotic. Subsequently, that antibiotic could be ineffective in treating humans affected by resistant bacteria. This helps explain very well how effective GMOs can be in our bodies as well as inside of them. It is likely that the effectiveness of these antibiotics against bacterial infections in humans will be reduced if this were to happen. In order to ensure that antibiotics will actually work, there needs to be more research and testing done, especially when they are introduced to the market, since some of them may not function properly. Lastly, GMOs affect farmers in many negative ways. GMO contamination can lead to significant financial burdens. Non-GMO and organic farmers may lose market access or face decreased crop values due to contamination. This contamination can occur through cross-pollination or mixing during harvesting and storage. There's also increased costs. The seed industry has become likely concentrated, with few companies controlling the majority of the market. This concentration has led to increased seed prices, which can be financially straining for small farmers. Another effect is super weeds and super pests. The use of GMO crops has led to the emergence of herbicide resistant superweeds and pests that are difficult to manage. Farmers may need to use more toxic chemicals or more intensive farming practices to control these issues. These challenges can make it difficult for small farmers to compete and maintain their livelihoods. And this shows that GMOs are becoming more of a monopoly for larger companies. In conclusion, while genetically modified organisms are mainly only praised for their benefits, the negatives outweigh the benefits by a ton. Long-term safety from GMOs relating to human consumption raises concerns for their effects like various allergic reactions, gut microbiome impacts, kidney and liver malfunctions, and antibacterial resistance. Given these considerations, it becomes clear that the risk associated with GMOs needs more serious attention. While the farming industry and many companies have received help from GMOs with advantages such as increased yields, pest resistance, and aesthetically pleasing looks, they should not overshadow the potential health risks. A more cautious approach to research of genetically modified organisms is necessary to ensure that we prioritize the health of consumers to prevent the effects listed above from occurring.